Hello friends, welcome to my channel Hima Education Made Easy. In our previous video, we have seen how to make a simple calculator where we have faced a problem at the end, that is if we give yes or no, it's turning into some sort of calculations. Previously the program was like this the program was, right? So where we used to give n in order to break. So here we are going to change this thing. So here if we are going with s, then we need to have a continuous statement, and then if we go with else, then we need to break it. So here now if we run it, now we can see that the same things, 1, 10 and 20 second value. So here we can see here it gave an output of 30. So here if I enter a string, it will automatically breaks. So apart from y and n, if you give apart from y, if you give anything, it will get break. Okay, this is what the error we have faced. In today's class we will be going to discuss about functions. Okay, so a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. You can pass data known as parameters into a function. A function can return data as a result. In this previous video we have seen that how we have defined a function and how we are fetching the values of function by returning it. This is what these are called functions. So regarding this we'll be going in detail. Okay, so let me clear it first. So now I will be going with creating a function. In order to create a function, as usual, we are going to have a keyword called define. So here if I want to define my function, so let me say I'm going to define a function. So and I'm naming it as function, my function, and whenever I call it, it has to print hello. This is what I need to have. So here if I run it, I won't be able to see anything. So until and unless I call it. So here I'm calling my function, then if I run it, it will give us an output of hello, because until and unless you call a function, it won't work the things. So here inside a function you can define anything. Okay, so and then we need to have an arguments. Information can be passed into functions as arguments. Arguments are specified after the function name. Inside the parenthesis, you can add as many arguments as you want, just separate them with a comma. So here I'll be going with the things like hello, and so hello of first name, so FIRST underscore name. So in this I have defined my function, in which I am having an argument called first name. You can have a number of arguments depending on your function, depending on defining the function. So here I am going to have first name, so which is an argument. Along with the argument, I want to print something. Okay, like this I want to print. So here whenever I call my function, so here I am calling function, inside brackets if I mention something like Sudarshan. Okay, so here if I run it, what output will it give? So here it will replace the argument name with whichever the name you are going to call it. So here whatever the name you want to call it, you can. So number of times there is no limit in order to call a function. So here I am going to have this one, and I am going to run it. So here you can see two things, that is one function I am calling with a name Sudarshan, and another function I am calling with the string, which is this one. So whatever the things you are going to define in this will be considered as an argument of my original function, and that function will be called back. Arguments are often shortened to args in Python documentation. When you go with the documentation, you need to mention it as args, okay. So here parameters or arguments, what we'll be calling it as. The term parameter and arguments can be used for the same thing, information that are passed into a function. We are calling it as a parameter or an argument. From a function's perspective, a parameter is a variable listed inside the parenthesis in the function defined, and an argument is the value that is sent to the function when it is called. So here we can simply call it as this one as an argument, and this one as an parameter, we can say it as, okay. Whatever the things you are going to define inside the function, we are going to call it as parameter, and with which we are going to call it as an argument, okay. So by default a function must be called with the correct number of arguments, meaning that if your function is function x expects 2 arguments, you have to call the 2 functions with 2 arguments, okay, not more or not less, okay. So here we'll go with another example. Under this I'm going to have, so here I defined my function where I have defined first name, so here I'm going with last name also, okay. So here I want to have last name too. So here I want to, whenever I call this function, I need to have I need to have these parameters like first name, and then I need to, sorry, so here I'm going with the plus, and then I need to have a space between first name and the last name, so I'm going to take it in the form of strings, and I want to add this one to the one more thing. So here I want, whenever I call this function, I need to have these two, that is first name and last name, which are parameters, okay. So here I need to call this function with arguments, okay. So here whenever I go with my function, first name is I'm going to give first name as Recursion, and then I'm going to give second argument as g, which is initial. So here it will take the first name as Sudarshan and last name as g whenever I call this one. So here if I call it, so I can see that Sudarshan space g. So space is provided because we have taken a string called space in this print statement, okay. If you try to call the function with 1 or 3 arguments, you will get an error obviously. So here in order to verify that, I'm going to define one more argument, that is some sort of string I am going to define. So even if there are numbers, whenever you define it in the quotations, you will be having. So my function takes 2 positional arguments but 3 are given. So this is what the error. So here if I give only one argument, that is Sudarshan, what will it give an output? So here one argument is missing, positional argument, that is last name, is missing. So if you do not know how many arguments will be passed into your function, add a star before the parameter name in the function definition. This way the function will receive a tuple of arguments and can access these items accordingly, okay. So here for that purpose, I'm going to in order to understand this example, I'm going to remove everything. So here let me think that there are a number of kits are there. So here kits I'm going to give, and then here I want to have print of so here I'm going to give the youngest child is, and then I want to add something, the second thing, that is kids of 2, second variable I want to add over here. Okay, so here this is what thing is. So here I am going to define my function in which I need to define a single variable, a single argument normally, but as we have mentioned star, we can define number of arguments. Okay, so here I am going to give a name called Sudarshan, and then I am going to give a name called Ram, and then I am going to give a name called Ravi. Like this, I have taken number of arguments. Whenever you mention a star in front of it, it will take like this. Okay, so here the last thing it will take kids of 2. Okay, so arbitrary arguments are often shortened by star args in Python documentation. Whenever you go with the documentation, as we have seen that previously, arguments are shorthanded with RG, but in arbitrary arguments, so that is number of whenever you don't know how many arguments are there at that time, you can give these things. So here let us try one more thing, one more string. Okay, like this. So here which one will be getting is Ravi, because in kids of 2 we have mentioned. So here if we go with the first referred thing, then youngest child is Ram. This is what it will get printed. So here, in order to avoid confusion, I'll give a space in the string so that you will be able to see this one. Okay, so you can also send arguments with key values. Key values, this way the order of the argument does not matter. Okay, so here, in order to understand this keyword arguments, I'll go with one more example. So here we'll be going with child 3, child 2, child 1. Like this, we have defined a function, and then here I want to print simply the youngest child is, and then I gave a space, then I'm going with an addition string of child 3, child. Here I have forgotten. Okay, spell is wrong, so it showed us an error. So here now, whenever we call my function of child 1 is equal to something called Sudarshan, comma next argument child 2, I'm going to name it as something, and next child 3 I'm going to give the name as this one. Okay, so here if I run it, so obviously it will take child 3 index values, right? So here child 3 index values we have given, right? This is what the key and value syntax is. So with this also we can fetch the values. The phrase keyword arguments are often shortened to KWRAG, keyword arguments. Okay, so simply here like this you can write it in shorthand. Whenever we go with argument, keyword arguments can be written as KW. Keyword is the short form. ARGS is the documentation shorthand. If you do not know how many keyword arguments that will be passed into your function, add 2 stars before the parameter name is in the function definition. This way the function will receive a dictionary of arguments and can access the items accordingly. Okay, so here as we have taken single star for similarly here we are going to take double stars. Okay, whenever we don't know the things, we'll go with we are going to mention the double stars like arbitrary, how we have taken single star arbitrary. Similarly keyword arguments, double star keyword arguments. Okay, so here simply in order to understand that, we are going to change this my function into, so instead of taking child 1, child 2, child 3, so here I am going to go with double star child. Okay, then I am going to go with print of his last name is, and then I'm going to add child of last name. Okay, so here when I call my function, in which I'll be going to represent f name as something, and then last name L name I'll be going with, last name I'll be going it as okay, like this I'm going to take it as. So then so here I need to give last underscore name. Okay, so this is what, so here I'll be going with first underscore name. So in this function it will take only last name, and it will return print his last name is some ertgv. This is what it will get printed. Okay, so here you can see whenever I run it, I'll be able to see his last name is ertgv. Even if there are a number of arbitrary functions, even then it will take only last name, not the first name. Okay, this is what the difference is. Arbitrary keyword arguments are often shorthanded as with 2 stars. So here you can see in comment double star KWARG. This is how we are going to define it in documentation. So here you can see default parameter values. If we call the function without argument, it uses default values. Okay, so here we can see, for example, so here I am going to define the function with my country as India. Okay, so here I am going to close this function. So here I want to print of I am from plus country I want to print it. So here if I go with the function called my function, of in which I'll be defining Brazil. Okay, so here Brazil. So what happens, we'll see now. So here it will replaces the key value. Okay, so from India it will get replaced with a key value. This is what the default parameter value means. So next we'll be going with passing a list as an argument. You can send any data type of arguments to a function like string, number, list, dictionary, or any other thing, and it will be treated as same data type inside the function. So here if we go with an example, then here I'm going to define my function in which I'll be going to take it as food, and then I'll be moving forward to for x in food print x. This is what I need to have. So here I'm going to define function called fruits, in which I'm going to take a list in which I'm going to have apple, then I'll be taking mango, then I'll be taking banana. Okay, so here I got a set of elements and I got this thing. So here I want to call my function of food, under which I will be calling fruits. So here if I run it, I'll be able to see that it will be called like apple, mango, and banana. So here even this function will also can be looped. Okay, so to let a function return a value, use a return statement. Okay, so here we can go with a return statement too. For that I'll take another example where we can have a simple element called x over here, and then we need to have a return function where 5 times of x it should be. Okay, then I'm going to have a print of my function in which I am going to give the value of x to be 4. Okay, now I'll see what output it will give. So here whatever the value of x I'll be taking, that value will get multiplied with that thing. Okay, so here function definition cannot be empty, but if you for some reason have created a function and there is no content in it, then you can put a pass statement in order to avoid getting an error. So here after defining a function, if I run it, I'll be getting an error. Okay, so here it will say that an indented block of statements should be there, but there aren't. So in order to avoid this sort of things, we need to go with a pass statement. So here if I run it, I won't be able to get. So next we'll be moving with recursion. Python also accepts function recursions, which means a defined function can call itself. Recursion is a common mathematical and programming concept. It means that a function calls itself. This has the benefit of meaning that you can loop through data to reach results. The developer should be very careful with recursion, as it can be quite easy to split into writing functions which never terminates, or one that uses excess amount of memory or processor power. However, when written correctly, recursion can be very effective and mathematically elegant approach to program. Okay, so here we'll be going with a recursion function. A recursion example we'll be going with. So here I'm going to define a function called try recursion. This is what the function name I have given. You can choose your name depending on your thing. So here if function I'm going to use if statement. If k is greater than 0, then the result should be k plus, sorry, small k plus the function recursion of function of k minus 1. This is what I need to get. Okay, so here print of result, I need to have a result where I have defined. So here the meaning of this one is, so here if value of k is greater than 0, then it has to loop itself until and unless the k value becomes 0. So if k becomes 1, then it will become 0, so then you will be having only k value, right? So this is how it need to loop it. So if it is k is 2, so 2 plus try of k minus 1, that means 2 plus try recursion of 1, then again it will loop it until it will become 1 plus try recursion of 0. Okay, print result. Then I'll be going with else statement. Else else result is equal to 0. Okay, then return result. Okay, then here I'm going to print a statement, print of recursion example results. A recursion example result. Okay, then I'm going to call the function which I have defined it, right? So here I'm going to call the function try recursion for 4. Okay, so here I'm going to see it. So here for 4, initially it has taken k as 4 plus try recursion. It tried recursion and then it went to 3, 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. This is what the output it has given as 10. Okay, then it went to loop through it again, where the k value became 3, 3 plus 2 plus 1, which became 6, then k became 2, then where you have got 2 plus 1, which became 3. Whenever it is the value of k is 1, at that time it remained with only k, because try recursion of k 1 minus 1 is 0, so you will be remained with the value 1. So it will get looped through itself. Okay, recursion is a common mathematical program concept. It is that the math, it calls itself, right? So this benefit of meaning that you can loop through the data until it reach the final results. So here even you can give 100 also, so that you can see this many set of values. So it will consume more and more time until and unless it becomes 1, it will recur itself. So from starting on, if not, simply you can understand it as initially it has taken 1, then it has taken 2, 3, like that you can consider it as. Okay, and with this we'll be winding up the video called Python functions. Okay, if you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.